Hi, my name's Steve, and in today's video, I'm going to talk about how to rise above compassion fatigue. Okay, so first, what do I mean by compassion fatigue? I'd heard this word being kind of thrown around a bit, and then I kind of looked it up. And so the definition I'm finding is you have an emotional or physical exhaustion. You feel this diminished ability to empathize with others, and you're really just kind of like so overwhelmed and tired with dealing with other people's problems, you just want to take care of yourself. So if that's you, then this video is perfect to you, because in this video, by the end of this, if you practice what I'm going to share in the context of the way I'm going to share it, I will show you a way to live in peace. And in fact, you'll actually have sustained energy levels and sustained levels of joy. Okay, so first, let's talk about how you got into the situation you're in where you feel this physical and emotional exhaustion or this compassion fatigue. There's two parts to it. So one is that there's you can't turn your thoughts off, right? And the more that you resist the thoughts that you have and the energy that you have that's trying to generate these thoughts, whatever thoughts they are, the noisier your mind gets. So there's this kind of like spiritual, we'll say, principle that, and it's actually a physical principle. It's a physics principle. Is that if you resist the thoughts, you're gonna give them attention. If you give them attention, you're going to focus on them. If you focus on them, you're going to amplify them, right? So when we resist something, it actually takes us more of our focus. Okay, so when you resist something, you add more focus to it. So that's one thing, and I know that you can't turn off your thoughts, and you might have these thoughts running in your mind right now, and it's overwhelming, and it's too much. So the second thing that's really important to realize is that part of the reason that this happens is because we have trapped energy in our bodies. Now, what happens is when the outside world hits the inside world. Okay, so there's an outside world and an inside world. When the outside hits the inside, what happens is because you have stored energy and you're not okay inside, it triggers something on the inside. If you were okay on the inside and something from the outside came in, it would just pass right through and it would just be another experience. But for some of those experiences, what happens, something comes in, you have that person at work, or you have that specific thing that's happened in your life where it's like it's simply just triggers you and you have to protect yourself. You put a shell around your heart to protect yourself. In those cases, what's happening is that the energy's trying to rise up, but you're pushing it down. And I get it. It's human nature. You don't want to feel it. So here's some context of like how to reframe and relook at of what your choices are when to release some of this stored energy in the body. Because what happens is if you can release some of the stored energy the way I'll talk about and share in this video, what will happen is, I said earlier that you can't turn your thoughts off. If you can just allow the energy to kind of come through you, what will happen is it gets very quiet inside. There's very little chatter inside. The reason it gets noisy is because you have that stored energy and it's trying to come up. Okay, so let me give you some context. So first, number one, I want to give you some context is that there's you, and then there's your avatar. Your avatar is your body. Okay, so your avatar is your body, and then there's you. And that's a really important distinction to make, is because you are not your body. There's two different parts to you. There's the you, and then there's your avatar. And the way you want to think of it is it's like a game, right? If you're playing a game, and all of us has played games at some point, some sort of game, you have your avatar, right? And then you have the person who controls the avatar. That's you. It's the same thing with your body. There's you, and then there's the body. So what you're doing is you're working with the avatar, you're working with the body to help it release stored energy. If you can do that and separate yourself from your body, then that's step one. You have to realize that you're not your body. It's just an avatar. You can train it to do whatever you want it to do, but first step is to get really clear on how to dissipate this stored energy that's trapped in your body, okay? Number two, remember, your body is an avatar. We're in a game called physical 3D reality. Okay? And you are not your avatar. You're the observer to the body, right? You're the controller of the body, but you're not your body. What happens outside of your body on the outside is not your responsibility. It's just what's happening. Again, go back to a game. You're playing the game, there's the game environment, right? When you're playing in the game environment, there's stuff that's happening. You don't control it. It's just what's happening. It's pre-programmed in the game. Well, we're in that game, and your avatar is playing that game. You don't control what's on the outside. You're the control of your body, right? What your body thinks, feeling, what it does. But everything else is outside of your responsibility. You can do certain things to create something or influence someone, but you don't have control over it. It's just like being in a game. We're in a game. You're an avatar, and you have your body, and you control the avatar. That's it, okay? It's just what's happening. So whatever is outside of you is not your responsibility because it's just what's happening. We give it a lot of meaning based on our past experiences primarily because of this stored energy. But that trapped energy is what distorts our view of what reality really is. And the reality is everything's energy, everything's connected, and your body is part of this energy. Your avatar is controlled by you, and you are separate from your avatar. Okay, it's just like a game environment. That's what we're in. Okay, this physical 3D reality is a game environment, and whatever happens outside of you is not your responsibility. The most important thing that you can do right now is to focus on what's going on inside. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is whatever happens outside of you is not your responsibility. Number three, if you find yourself reflecting on the past, okay, if you find yourself reflecting on the past, really interesting, over the last 6 months, I've been getting a lot of these, let's just say memories from the past coming up. I've been listening to a lot of 80s music, 90s music, and that brings up memories from the past. Well, these memories from the past brought up some stuff that wasn't so fun, okay? It wasn't so comfortable. And so when that happens, you've got two options because see, the thing is that what I'm noticing is that this is happening for a lot of people as we're going back to our past to process stuff. It's because the energy is trying to surface. It's trying to get out of the body. It wants to get out of the body, but we're pushing it down. So what do you want to allow it to come up, to allow it to surface? You just want to notice and become the observer. And you really got two options. One is protect yourself and push down the emotions and stay where you are. Or number two, you let go and evolve, which is choosing the next level in the game, right? If you choose the next level in the game, you're going to have to expand. So remember, your body's an avatar and you are the controller of the body. You're the controller of it. So as you're controlling the body, you get to decide, are you going to resist the emotions? Or as the observer, are you just going to watch and let it do wherever it's going to do and then allow yourself to go to the next level? Because that's what you're doing. You're in a game environment. This physical 3D world is a game environment, okay? Now, Daniel Brinkley, this guy does a lot of focus on death. He has a lot of focus on death. He's died 4 times, and 3 out of those 4 times he's had where he's basically dead and he comes back. And he has a lot to say about what happens when you die. And he basically says you have a life review. You do a 360 review of your entire life, except in this case, you go in and you're the experiencer or the observer of every single person you interacted with based on your interaction with them. So you're the receiver of all these inputs through the end of your life, and then at the end of your life you get to decide and be the judger of how well you did in this physical incarnation. That's the Life Review 360, and Daniel Brinkley talks about it on Guy TV. You can Google him, Daniel Brinkley. One of the things I find fascinating is that now what's happening with a lot of us is we're going for that life review now, and we're not even dead yet. We're not even past the game. The game's not over. We're still in the game and we're going through this processing, meaning the energy's trying to surface, like I said earlier, and you're in this position of, okay, the energy's trying to pass and I'm just like getting these memories from when I was like 5, 6, 7, 18, 22 years old, and I'm going back and all this stuff's coming up. What's happening? You got 2 choices. Resist it, shrink down, and stay where you are, the old way, push down the emotions. Or number 2, you can let go and evolve, become the observer, and then choose to go to the next level. And what happens is if you can let the information pass, the energy will come out, it will pass, and then guess what happens next? New information comes in, new insight, new downloads, new clarity, right? So this affects all areas of your life, career decisions, the relationships you're in. If you can be the witness to what happens and let this energy pass through, then what happens is the stuff that's coming from the outside won't hit the inside, it'll just pass through. And then more information will come and more information will come. but information that helps you get more clarity, sustain levels of joy, and sustain levels of sort of lightness and peace. Okay? Now here's number 3. When the outside hits the inside, if you're experiencing any sort of physical or emotional exhaustion, that's what's happening. The outside is hitting the inside, some part of you. And as it touches that, you got a choice. You either let it go or you push it down. Okay? What I can tell you is, if you can become the witness and just have the experience of noticing what it's doing to you on the inside and not reacting, and realize that we're spinning on a planet in the middle of nowhere, mostly empty space. Quantum physics even will tell you that most of the space in our physical 3D reality is mostly space. There's some particles, but it's like 99.999% space. So out of this planet is physical space. It's mostly space, and we're spinning on this planet in the middle of nowhere. You're not here to fix anything. All you're here, or fix any other one's problems, you're here to have experiences. This is why I say it's a game environment. You're here to have experiences. You're playing a game, and you forgot. And so if you can come back to that observer witness and realize there's your avatar and then there's you, and just be the observer of your avatar, then when these emotions or this information comes and hits you, and then you feel it on the inside, instead of like contracting and closing the heart, you open it. And the way you open is, you intentionally say, I'm just going to be the observer to the experience, and breathe through it. Just breathe a bit. Breathe through the heart. Take some deep breaths and just notice what's happening there. You're not trying to fix anything or do anything. Just notice it. Okay? So I hope you found that helpful. If you want to take this to the next level and you kind of like, you appreciate what I'm sharing, logically it makes sense, but you want the extra support to be able to do this with someone that can help you, then I'm happy to jump on a call with you. There's a link to my calendar down below. You'll find my availability. We jump on a 30-minute call. It's free. But what we're doing on that call is, I want to find out exactly where the energy is stuck in your body. And then I want to tell you, if I can, that I can help you. And if I can, then we talk about the investment and what's involved to help you let it go. Okay? Thanks for watching, listening. Thanks for being a subscriber. If you like this, please give me a thumbs up. And if this is beneficial to someone else that could be using the information in this video to kind of like get back in that space of being the witness and the observer to their experience, then please share it with them, okay? Thanks again for watching and listening. My name's Steve, and we'll talk to you next time.